Welcome back to EtherLink AI Insights. I'm Alex, and today we're diving into something that's reshaping how enterprises actually work: Agentic AI and autonomous agents. If you've been hearing these terms thrown around, you're not alone. But most people don't really understand what separates genuine autonomous agents from the chatbots we've been dealing with for years. Sam, we're calling this the Enterprise Guide for 2026. So I'm guessing the landscape is shifting pretty dramatically right now.
Absolutely, Alex. And the numbers back that up. 65% of enterprises are now piloting autonomous agent architectures. That's not experimental anymore. That's mainstream. But here's what most people get wrong. They think Agentic AI is just a fancier chatbot. It's completely different. These systems don't wait for you to ask questions. They break down complex problems, make decisions, use tools autonomously, and adapt when things don't go as planned.
That's a huge distinction. So a traditional chatbot is reactive. You ask, it answers. But an agent is proactive and goal-oriented, right? Can you give us a concrete example of what that looks like in the real world?
Perfect. Imagine a procurement agent. A chatbot version would just answer questions about purchase orders. An agentic system actually negotiates supplier terms, checks inventory forecasts in real time, compares costs across vendors, and escalates exceptions to a human when something risky comes up. It's doing real work, not just responding to queries. And Gartner data shows that enterprises using these systems are seeing 40 to 60% reductions in manual task execution time.
That's significant. So we're talking about genuine productivity gains, not just incremental improvements. But I imagine deployment is more complex than traditional automation. Where do you even start?
That's exactly where people stumble. You have to understand the fundamental difference between workflows and agents. And honestly, most enterprises need both. Workflows are deterministic. They handle predictable, linear processes with known decision trees. Think order fulfillment, compliance document routing, data pipelines. Same input, same output, every time. They're cheap to run at scale and completely auditable.
But agents handle something different?
Yes, agents thrive on complexity and variance. A customer service agent resolving invoice disputes needs to evaluate payment history, SLA terms, contract specifics, and figure out the right resolution path. Every case is contextually different. If your task requires reasoning across multiple data sources, if input variance is above 30%, if you need human escalation for 5 to 15% of cases, that's when agents make sense.
So it sounds like the winning approach isn't picking one or the other. You're suggesting a hybrid model?
Exactly. And this matters because we've validated this across 20-plus enterprise deployments. Take loan origination. You use deterministic workflows for data validation, which is low risk and needs speed. But you use autonomous agents for underwriting decisions, which require judgment and complexity. That hybrid approach delivers 35% cost reduction compared to using pure agents or pure workflows alone.
That's a concrete number people can act on. Now, cost optimization seems to be a big theme here. What are enterprises actually spending on these systems, and where are they seeing savings?
The cost picture is nuanced. Agents have higher inference costs than workflows because they're reasoning through problems in real time. But if you're replacing human labor, especially high-touch decision-making roles, the ROI is compelling. The key is matching the right agent to the right task. An agent that makes 100,000 decisions monthly has different economics than one that makes 500. Tool usage patterns matter too. If your agent is calling APIs unpredictably, that balloons costs.
So measurement and optimization are critical from day one. What about governance? I imagine running autonomous systems at scale raises serious questions around oversight and compliance, especially with EU AI Act regulations coming into play.
This is where a lot of enterprise deployments fail. Governance isn't optional, it's foundational. You need clear audit trails for every decision an agent makes. You need defined escalation paths for edge cases. And you need safety guardrails built into the agent architecture itself, not bolted on afterward. The EU AI Act compliance piece is particularly important. If an agent is making decisions that affect customer rights or financial outcomes, you need to document the reasoning, prove the system was tested, and have a human-in-the-loop mechanism.
That sounds like it demands more than just technical expertise. You need people from legal, compliance, and operations at the table from the beginning.
Absolutely, and you need to think about agent evaluation and testing upfront. How do you validate that an agent is making good decisions? What does failure look like? How often does it escalate to humans? And is that ratio healthy? These metrics need to be defined before you go into production. The teams we've seen succeed treat agent validation like they'd treat critical financial systems: rigorous testing, staged rollouts, continuous monitoring.
You mentioned agent orchestration earlier, which sounds like coordinating multiple agents. Is that something enterprises are actually doing?
It's becoming more common, and it's genuinely complex. Imagine you have a customer service agent, a billing agent, and a logistics agent. They need to coordinate on resolving a customer issue without stepping on each other's toes. That's agent mesh architecture, multiple agents working together toward shared goals. The challenge is managing dependencies, preventing infinite loops, and maintaining clear accountability. It's powerful when you get it right, but it's definitely not a first-step implementation.
So for enterprises just starting this journey, what's the recommended approach? Where should they actually begin?
Start small and specific. Pick a single, high-impact process, something with clear success metrics and bounded scope. A finance team processing invoices, a customer service team handling a specific dispute type, a logistics team optimizing shipment routing. Build your governance framework and evaluation criteria around that first agent. Get wins, learn what works, then expand. The enterprises we've worked with that tried to boil the ocean on day one, those pilots failed.
That's really practical advice. Before we wrap up, what's the one thing you'd want listeners to remember about Agentic AI in 2026?
Agentic AI is not magic. It's not replacing human decision-making wholesale. It's augmenting human judgment with autonomous reasoning over specific domains. The enterprises winning right now aren't treating agents as a cost-cutting measure. They're treating them as a way to free up humans to do higher-value work. You're not choosing between humans and agents. You're architecting a system where they work together.
That's a critical reframe. Thanks for breaking down these patterns and architectures, Sam. Listeners, if you want the full deep dive on Agentic AI orchestration, agent cost optimization, compliance frameworks, and real case studies, head over to etherlink.ai and search for Agentic AI and Autonomous Agents, Enterprise Implementation Guide for 2026. There's a lot more detail there that we didn't have time to cover. Thanks for joining us on EtherLink AI Insights, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Alex. Great discussion.